Hello, and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Tuesday, January 7th, 2024. 25. One of these days I will remember that it is 2025. And today's topic will be basically sketching a bunch of heads. And before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, welcome if you're new. I sketch and post every day, and I use timers to stay focused and build a sketching habit. So I'm going to start a 10-minute timer because there's several things I want to go over today, but it'll be fun. So yeah, to start off with, I have this page of a bunch of heads, and during the 2024 sketchbook review video, I talked about this for a minute, and I talked about how I would make a video about it. So I'll just kind of, to get warmed up, kind of explain what I did and also sketch. So some of the tools, so I'm just going to use a pen or different pens. So the usual felt tip pen, but also like a Sharpie. I've started using that. And I also use a brush pen. So yeah, those are the pens. And then let me get warmed up here. So yeah, first I'll just kind of just sketch for fun to begin with so I can explain. But in this video, I'm not gonna do this exact exercise, if you want to call it that, but it's the same idea. So yeah, let me kind of get warmed up. That's one thing that I've learned is pretty helpful, mainly because of making these videos. I realized that it helps to kind of have a warm-up routine to get into it, to get into the creative flow. So yeah, what happened was I made a note here. So I used a brush pen. So I use, again, this is just, I'll go over different ways of doing this particular exercise, and it was just something that I thought of. But yeah, I just use a brush pen to, for 10 seconds, sketch like different heads, and these are from reference, but I did them in 10 seconds, so that'll be basically what we'll do today, but maybe a little bit different. And I just used it to get like the big shapes. Now I could have done like use a smaller pen, which I'm gonna do today. I mean, it has like a certain look to it. And then went back in and in 30 seconds filled in like more detail. And then now what I'm doing like right now to warm up with is just, I'm going to use a Sharpie actually. So between the like a kind of like a medium point and then like a Sharpie and then like a brush, you kind of have three different looks. Pen widths. So yeah, then I'm just going in with like the Sharpie, for example, and just adding like detail, not from reference, just kind of making up. So I just feel like it's just kind of a fun, it's a good warm-up. It's a good thing to sketch if you're not sure, and you can apply it to different subject matter. But yeah, I just like to keep things creative and interesting for myself, and then it helps. So yeah, it's just a type of exercise. And so just to begin with, I'm going to do this just to kind of show you what you can do with it. I mean, even if it's like pretty rough like this, it's still not bad. I mean, it's still kind of, so part of this is to come up with characters, because I'm always going to come up with characters, but also learn to draw stuff and faces. And also kind of learn about lighting, because it does show you sort of accidentally like lighting just because of the brush strokes. And then you can play around with different techniques without worrying about having it look bad or something like that, because like they're so quick, and so they're not going to look detailed, and also even if they look like, you're not going to mess up like a ton of time that you put into it. So yeah, and plus it's interesting, and it can come up with some interesting looks. You can do different, so part of this is also pen and ink kind of thing. You can play around with different ways of rendering skin tones, but also lighting. But yeah, like if you have a more detailed drawing, then sometimes if you mess up, then it's more annoying. But yeah, this is more low pressure way of experimenting with different rendering techniques. So yeah, I just wanted to start off with this, and then I'll kind of go over other ways of doing this. But yeah, it's a good warm-up. So we've got about 3 minutes. So yeah, that was just an idea you might want to play around with. And I just kind of, if I want to get warmed up or just want something to work on, I'll just come back and like work on it like this. And I just put the date. So let's start a new page here, and I'll kind of explain how to do this. So I just use Pinterest like for all of the issues it might have. It's still useful, at least for me. So for example, I search for heads, like that was the search term, and on my laptop I'm able to see like 5 thumbnails basically. So the idea is to not zoom in and try to detail it, and so I just see like 5 search results at the top, and so that's pretty good. And then so that I can just glance at it, and then on my phone, which I'm recording with my phone, but like if I were using the phone, I think there's like 4 or 5 thumbnails that show up on in the app. You can use whatever. This is kind of convenient for now. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And there's just different approaches. So I showed you how to use, I can do this one real quick just to show you how I did the previous page. So there's a minute left, but I'm going to cancel the timer, and I'll do 10 seconds, but you don't have to do 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, but something pretty quick. Now 10 seconds is actually pretty quick, and I'll just kind of do that just to demo. So yeah, make sure everything's kind of set up, and basically the idea is to not pick and choose and just let the thing choose for you. Let Pinterest choose. So yeah, I'm gonna start a 10-second timer, and you might just want to watch this at first and then do this. So that's 10 seconds, and then just see if it works for you. I mean, 10 seconds might be a bit much, but that's just because I wanted to do that, because I really wanted to like get like down to the bare bones of the gesture. So I'll just do the first row that I see here. So there's 5 thumbnails. And there's different approaches. I'm just going with this look. So there's like a certain look to it. because of the brush. I'll just do one more right here to fit. So again, just a way to practice. So that was done in 10 seconds each. Now, I'm not going to fill all of these in, but I'll do maybe a couple of them. So you can, this is how I did the other page, and I filled the whole thing, and there was about 42 heads that I was able to fit. The other way is to go in with something thinner, like a Sharpie, and I'll just do 30 seconds and keep the same thumbnails. And yeah, just that's the idea. And there's no, part of this is to get over like the idea of right or wrong, and also build confidence and build accuracy and practice. So that's 30 seconds. I'll do this one. And also style, by the way, that's the other thing too. Without getting bogged down in detail, basically. Alright, so that's 30 seconds. So you can see how you could do something like that. You could go the other way and use a Sharpie. So I'm gonna scroll down to the next row. So I'm gonna do 10 seconds. I'll just do one right here. And you can try different approaches. You could have it be more loose. So that's 10 seconds right there. And then I'll do another version instead of the outline. But for 30 seconds, I will just use the brush. So that's 30 seconds. So that's the other way of doing it. For this next one, you can, instead of kind of looking at the outline, you can look at the features. So this is more about placing the features quickly. And then also just stick with the same pen. So I'll do 30 seconds. I mean, you might skip the 10-second part. It was just something for me to sort of challenge myself and think outside the box a bit. But yeah, this is a way to kind of come up with different styles, different looks, different way of thinking. So yeah, and just leave it. And then later, because when you come back to it later, it does feel different. I mean, I think that'll be it for the for like the pictures. So I don't really need the pictures anymore. So I'll put that away for now. So the other thing is, yeah, you can start sketching and then, or come back to it. Because for me, I like to do it like that because I get bored kind of quickly. So if I were to come back to this like a few days later, it'll be like it's like I'm a different person. It's just kind of how it is. So when I do this, I might just be playing around with doodling. But you can see how it started with reference, but then it's a way of just coming up with characters and styles. So yeah. So I'll start a 5-minute timer and maybe just keep it at that. So yeah, you might just want to come back to this video after seeing how to do it. And it's just an idea. I mean, there's different ways, even beyond this, obviously. Like you could have something pretty vague like this, but then turn it into something. And yeah, just play around with different ideas. But yeah, as I wrap up this video, I want to thank you for joining me for today's sketching routine. Hopefully you come back, and if you like these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it. Helps keep me going. And until next time, keep on sketching.